Okay, yesterday, just to complete something that we were discussing yesterday about sunflower seeds. Okay, remember we're talking about pits that are not edible are muktzeh. Pits that are edible are muktzeh. Peels that are not edible are muktzeh. Peels that are edible are not muktzeh. So we're talking about the various different types of pits and shells and things, walnuts and almonds and all that stuff. We ended up discussing about sunflower seeds. Are they muktzeh or not? And we said that l'chayra, because they're edible, they shouldn't be muktzeh. So I looked more into it today. I saw interesting that some contemporary poskim who mamish talk about sunflower seeds, not hypothetically it's seeds, but they talk about sunflower seeds. So one guy says it's muktzeh because it's not edible, but if they're salty, people suck the salt off the peel, then it's not muktzeh. And the other guy said, another opinion says, no, it's 100% edible. Everybody eats sunflower seeds, so it's not muktzeh. So this is, but l'chayra, according to the fact, it's a shaila in a fact, not in the halacha. The fact is, halacha is very simple. If it's edible, it's not muktzeh. If it's not edible, it is muktzeh. So now the question is, do people eat sunflower seeds, the shells? The fact is, people do. I mean, I don't know. That's what it seems like. Okay, next. Okay, pits, we said muktzeh. Now, canned food. Okay. Now, the question is, are you allowed to open cans on Shabbos? It's a big debate in halacha. Let's not get into it now. Technically speaking, to open a round can, basically it's forbidden. Some people want to say open a bowl on top, but the question is, are canned foods, according to those opinions, muktzeh? If you hold you can open a can on Shabbos, then it's not muktzeh because it's edible. The question is, because you can't open the can on Shabbos, that it's still not muktzeh. Why isn't it muktzeh? Because the can is bottled to the food, and the food is not muktzeh. Even though you can't get to the food because you can't open the can. Huh? Yeah, but I'm saying even if not, the food is not muktzeh because the food is still, the food is edible and the keli is bottled to the food. But what happens though if it's like raw beans or something that you can't eat as is, or a can of popcorn seeds, raw popcorn seeds? Then everybody holds it to muktzeh because you can't use it, you can't eat it, you can't get to it, it's not edible, and therefore it's muktzeh. The shaila is, how can you open a can because you have to destroy the can? There's a big shaila in halacha about opening cans. Let's leave that out. Sometimes they say ignorance is bliss. And leave it at that. Okay, now frozen food. Again, we're talking about this. Frozen food that's already frozen, ready to eat, is not muktzeh. Because it's edible. Take it out, you can defrost it. Defrost it, it's not muktzeh. If it's not edible, because it's raw, like raw meat, raw fish, or all those other types of food, so then they're completely muktzeh. Okay, if they're completely muktzeh, you can't move it in any other way. Okay, next, medicines. The whole issue in halacha about taking medicines on Shabbos. Now we're not talking about medicines that have to do with blood pressure, heart, thyroid, all those types, that's for sure you can take on Shabbos. The question is not life-endangering situations. Are you allowed to take medicine on Shabbos or not? So in the time of halacha, Shulchan Aruch, Gemara, it says explicitly you're not allowed to take medicines on Shabbos. Why can you not take medicines on Shabbos? Because people used to, how did they make medicine? They used to grind up herbs. Herbs grow from the ground. If you're grinding up herbs, you're basically grinding things that grow from the ground, which is biblically forbidden to grind on Shabbos. So there was a gzeira not to take even ready-made medicine, even if you made it before Shabbos, because the gzeira teichen, you may come to make medicine on Shabbos, and then you're going to be grinding, which is biblically forbidden. So therefore, halacha says you are not allowed to take medicines on Shabbos, period. But nowadays, It might get worse, by the way, because now people are going more into homeopathic stuff and people making their own medicines and all that. But nowadays, some poskim are a little bit more lenient with it. Why are they a little bit more lenient? Because today, people don't make their own medicine. Nobody makes their own medicine today that we're going to be afraid. If you take medicine, you're going to go grind medicine. I mean, when was the last time maybe you. When was the last time anybody makes medicine? People don't make medicine today. You go to the pharmacy, you buy medicine. So therefore, they're a little bit more lenient with these things of medication today than they used to be. Nevertheless, there's not a leniency stam. For instance, medicine that you're taking for medicinal purposes only, but it's also something which people eat. To give you an example, somebody hates tea. He'll never drink tea. He doesn't like it. He has a very bad throat, sore throat, and he wants to drink tea with lemon or tea plain to ease the throat. Now he's taking it totally for medicine because he doesn't like tea. Nevertheless, that you're allowed to take on Shabbos. Why? Because it's a food. It's a food people eat. So then you might be thinking it's medicinal, but the bottom line is if it's edible, people eat it. Therefore, there would be a difference, interestingly, halachically, between a medicine that's chewable and a medicine that's not chewable. Chewable medicine, people can eat as a candy. Ask the kids. If the chewable medication tastes good, they eat it as a candy. A medication you swallow is worse because then it's not food. It's not food. Therefore, halachically, it doesn't even have to be kosher, halachically. Okay, but it doesn't have to be kosher because you're not eating it. You can't eat treifa food, but you can swallow treifa food. Huh? Flintstones? There's a Flintstone Chassidus says it's Surah Chalamish. A Flintstone, you rub it, you create fire, and shores on the source of godliness in the world. But we'll leave that. Ideally, Al Rebbe says like this. Things that, like vitamins, according to the Al Rebbe, you shouldn't take vitamins and shit. Unless if doctor says you must take them, on a daily basis. But the marshal, I'm saying all these dinim because then the differences, are they muktzeh or are they not muktzeh? If you're allowed to take them, they're not muktzeh. If you're not allowed to take them, then they are muktzeh, obviously, right? So, the marshal, if somebody's an antibiotic for 10 days, so obviously, inevitably, there's a Shabbos there. So then halacha says clearly, because you're taking your regimen of pills, you're allowed to continue taking them on Shabbos. Not only that, halacha says, that what happens if you get the prescription Friday afternoon? So you think, okay, I'll start after Shabbos, then I don't have to take it on 2 Shabbos, and only 1 Shabbos. So halacha says, no, you can take the medicine right away, start taking it, for 10 days, you can take on Shabbos also. Obviously, if you have to take it like twice a day, so Friday you take it twice, and Shabbos you take it once, and then the second time you take after Shabbos, if possible, if that doesn't, whatever. You minimize as much as possible. But those things are halachically allowed to be taken. Now, there's a question like this. Moshe, if you look in halacha, and it's very interesting, the Litvish poskim versus the Ashkenazic poskim. Almost all of the non-Hasidic Litvish, I'm talking about the great Litvish poskim, hold you're not allowed to take aspirin on Shabbos.
You're not allowed to?
They hold that you're not allowed to take aspirin on Shabbos. Chassidish poskim, Chsalazar, Ksesa Shulchan, whatever, we'll leave it at that, hold that you are allowed to take aspirin, because in those days you didn't have Tylenol and Advil. Advil, aspirin in...
Swallowable medicine or doctor like anti-pain medication?
No, aspirin to swallow.
So what I'm saying is other types of medicine, like Pepto-Bismol pill form, you can swallow too.
Yeah, but it depends. If somebody the whole body is weak from what the Pepto-Bismol is supposed to accomplish, so then they would be allowed, the way we hold, you'd be allowed to take it on Shabbos.
Why?
Because it's nachlash kol gufay and it's tsar and whatever. The Chassidish poskim are meiko. And that's the way we hold, by the way.
What about asthmatic things like albuterol spray?
Sprays are not a problem. Sprays are not eating it as a medicine.
And what about
What? Yeah. Let me ask you a question. It's at 97 degrees, and you have to walk 2 miles to shul.
What shul?
There's only one shul.
Sinai?
You have to walk to shul, yeah? Now, to walk is tsar, right? Going in an air-conditioned car is pleasure. Are you allowed to drive in a car because you have...
No.
And Shabbos is made for that? No. So obviously, it's not a question of tzad. But again, coming back to Muktzeh, any medication you can take on Shabbos is not Muktzeh. If you're not allowed to take it on Shabbos, then it is Muktzeh. It makes sense. Medicine is not, it's nothing. It's not a keli. So therefore, if you're allowed to take it on Shabbos, you're allowed to then it's not Muktzeh. If you're not allowed to take it on Shabbos, then it is Muktzeh. What? A cough drop is a sucking candy. People take that as a sucking candy. So then, like we said before, it's like lemon or tea or something like that, even though you're only taking medicinal purposes. But the fact is, a cough drop is a sucking candy. That's what it is. What do you think it is? It's not too much more than that, by the way. A sucking candy? For sure. But so what? It's a candy that you eat. It also heals the throat. It's a side thing. Like we said, the tea is going to...
Robitussin would be fine.
Robitussin, if the liquid medicine, if somebody has to take it, they're makel today on these things. If you must take it, because of what's called nachlash kol gufay, the whole body is weak, or it's affecting the whole body. So then you would be allowed to take it today. But if somebody can avoid it, they should avoid taking all these types of medications. Now, if somebody's on a regimen, we said, of 10 days antibiotic, they have to take it on Shabbos. Otherwise, they're destroying the whole thing. Okay, what? Inhaler is okay. Okay. But for instance, those in, like you say, aerosol spray applicator, the medications, those are fine. But aerosol things that are containing, according to them, medicated stuff that you're not, according to them, that you're not allowed to take on Shabbos, so then it's Muktzeh. But if you can take it, then it's not Muktzeh.
So like powdered.
Aerosol cans. Spray medications.
Yeah. Some of them are powdered. Some of them are not just, it's like liquid spray, it's like powder.
And then
So there's no
you eat it?
No, but it is powder.
I'm saying, but will you spray it into your mouth?
Yeah, you suck it out.
You suck it out from the spray?
What's it called? It's like an inhaler, but instead of the spray shooting to your mouth, you open it up and you just breathe it in.
That you could do. That's not a problem.
It's round and you suck it.
Right. Okay.
So what about inhalers?
Inhalers are not a problem. Okay. Band-Aids, because there is a way of putting on a Band-Aid on Shabbos, which is not against halacha. Like we said, you can't wrap a Band-Aid on Shabbos over itself. Like if you have a cut here, right? So normally you take a Band-Aid and you wrap it over itself, right? That you're not allowed to do on Shabbos. That's gluing. But if you have a sore here, you could put a Band-Aid this way.
Okay.
That the glue is only on your skin rather than the adhesive is only on your skin, not over itself. So therefore, because Band-Aids could be, or gauze pads, whatever, they're not Muktzeh because they are usable on Shabbos. What?
Opening up the Band-Aids, it's not separated from glue.
You have to open the Band-Aid in a way that it's allowed. That's a separate issue. It's not to do with Muktzeh. You have to open in a way that you cut it where there's no letters.
You can't pull it open.
If it's glued and you pull it open, then you're not allowed to. The question is it actually glued together or is it just pressed together? If it's pressed together, you would be allowed to open it because they're not glued together. You have to know. I'm saying, but otherwise, you could just tear it by the side. What?
You can take it out without opening.
One sec. What?
The person doesn't need an inhaler, but it will benefit. Like it will just add. He doesn't need
And he
it.
could do it.
Why? What's the reason behind that?
Because it doesn't.
We could do it.
It's
not-
we said you need it because nefesh kol gufa or something, so here.
If it makes him better also, it's fine.
Even if it's just like
Yeah.
additional.
In Eilers, it wouldn't be a problem. What?
Is the diabetic allowed to check their sugar on Shabbat?
It's a different question, but different topic. But the answer is yes. If the doctor says he must, because it could be dangerous, then he is allowed to. The only question, they have to figure out the best way to do it with the least desecration of Shabbos, but it could be done.
Because they have to the Band-Aid.
No, I know, I'm saying it could be done, but it has to... Now, first aid creams, Vaseline, all that stuff is not allowed to be used on Shabbos, but therefore the Muktzeh. But if you want to take Vaseline, instead of smearing Vaseline, you dab it, and no cheating, you dab it, so that you're allowed to do on Shabbos. So therefore Vaseline then wouldn't be Muktzeh, because there's a way of putting on Vaseline that wouldn't be a problem.
Would that be the same thing with chapstick? If you
No,
dab
chapstick you can't.
chapstick,
No, because chapstick is made to smear. That's the way it is.
if you dab-
Chapstick is taka Muktzeh on Shabbos.
If you dab Vaseline on your lips, then
But chapstick is mamachik of the container of the thing itself. Vaseline, I'm not talking about it's you take it out with your finger, right? Chapstick, it's like lipstick. You're actually scraping the actual, even if you dab it on, you're still scraping the thing. That's a problem. If it be taking it out of a tube, technically something that you take out of a tube and you have an infection, you want to take a thing out of the tube and just put it on, then you're not, and you can even then take a gauze and cover it.
You can spray on Band-Aid.
Spray on Band-Aid could be a shayla of meilit. Machashin is a meitzah mechebe b'mayim kim shivlag al teiro kanan rekashim erotik b'chol zak so figure hebel hem ter mit shenamad adina chavetzaman.